Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and welcome to our football construction site as we build a team through the NFL draft. You always hear others say that this particular draft is weak, or wait until next year to take this particular position, or the NFL draft is an inexact science, but we at Football Game Plan believe that all three of those statements are huge myths, and we're here to show you why as we go through 7 rounds of the NFL draft and pick players to make each NFL team better. But before we get started, let's take a look at the mock draft rules. You have to remember that the selections that you see in this mock draft will be based off of Football Game Plan Scouting player rankings, which you can find on our website at youtube.com/footballgameplan or footballgameplan.com/FBGP scouting. They're also based off what I would do as the general manager, not what I think they'll do, not what they have done or what they will do, but what I would do if I were the GM, and also what I believe are the team needs. So not what other people may think the team needs are. If I think they need a quarterback, then I'm gonna take a quarterback. That's how it's going to go for this mock draft. So it's time to put on my GM hat and let's get started in building up the NFL. Jordan Willis was just too good to pass up here in round 1 for Cincinnati. He would immediately jumpstart the pass rush in the Queen City, and I'm a big fan of his awareness and sense of timing in making the play. I like Tyler Eifert, but I can't trust Tyler Eifert to stay healthy. That's why I took David Njoku with the Bengals' 2nd round pick. They have Tyler Kroft on a roster, who's a good option as well, but they would strengthen the depth and talent pool at the position with a guy of the caliber of Njoku. Now, looking at the 2nd level and helping out with a player like Zach Cunningham out of Vanderbilt, I think that makes a ton of sense. And with the way this mock draft fell, the Bengals were lucky to see this guy still on the board in round 3. Now, since he has 2 4th-round picks, and I add one of the best offensive lineman prospects in this year's draft class in Pat Elflein out of Ohio State, who I also believe can step in day 1 and be a starter over Russell Bodine in the middle. Cooper Kupp is one of my favorite prospects in this draft class because he's consistent in everything that he does and brings to the table. I like a young core with A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and Cooper Kupp more so than Brandon LaFell in the mix. To me, that would be an upgrade over LaFell and would bolster this receiving core. It's what we saw from it a few years ago. Justin Evans out of Texas A&M is an excellent strong safety prospect. He's a terror in run support and also strikes the fear of Zeus in receivers traveling over the middle of the field. Continuing to add pass rushing options at defensive end with Florida Atlantic's Trey Hendrickson. He's coming off an excellent career with the Owls and an even more impressive week of practice at the East-West Shrine game. He was virtually unblockable all week long. Adding depth along the offensive line with the selection of Ben Braden out of Michigan. I was a big fan of how well he's able to execute multiple blocks throughout the course of his college career. I think he's a solid prospect. And Jahad Thomas is a dynamic talent coming from Temple. He has the versatility to line up in the slot and do damage and also take carries traditionally and make defenders look foolish in space. And also, he can help out as a kickoff and punt returner. He was a fun prospect to watch on film and will definitely have a role in the NFL. And rounding out the Bengals draft with another linebacker prospect and Marquis Smith out of Savannah State. He can play the strong or weak side backer position and shows above average ability in zone coverage. So that's a wrap for this edition of Building Through the Draft. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And if you want to watch our other NFL team 7-round mock drafts, and you already should, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan, where you can catch all of our FBGP scouting prospect ranking videos. Also, subscribe to Football Game Plan podcast on iTunes.